the office is open. And then, I'll tell you what, we have the best employees in the last couple of years.
Really?
Amazing.
Oh, that's great.
Working hard, wanting hours, and just coming in with great attitude. Yeah.
Do you pay it, or?
Oh my gosh, yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're
Okay, what do you pay them? Because what we would be able to do is minimum wage.
well, we've had, like, wait staff, and housekeepers at
Okay.
the end, but they've been
Great.
great, yeah. But,
Excellent.
yeah, we're actually looking for something, just something kind of interesting.
Okay.
It might actually work out well.
Okay,
Yeah.
terrific. Good to know.
Yeah, great.
Excellent.
It's 12.
Well, I'm gonna be, I've been putting together spreadsheets of all the different businesses, and we're trying to figure out
They actually signed it up.
how to kind of approach them,
I think
not just individually.
It was March already.
And I'm working closely with
I
them.
know, and I just,
Find it as March.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just was going back to earlier.
Hi, Frank.
She's like that, learning opportunity to coordinate, she's really good. She's been in a position for at least 2 years.
Okay. You were talking, who was that?
Oh, I went and met with someone at the high school, Beth. Oh my goodness, I can't remember her name.
Okay,
But she had connected us with some high school kids,
okay,
that were interested in having some work opportunities.
terrific.
Yeah.
What we want to do is, as much as possible, keep them in the area when they graduate and connect them with good work opportunities.
Yeah.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Select Board regular meeting on this Wednesday, February 21st at 6 p.m. here at the Bethel Town Office. I see that there is a quorum present, everyone on the Select Board is here. As always, we're going to start with a flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next up is public comment. If you'd like to make a public comment, raise your hand, I'll call on you, and you can just state your name, the town you're from, for the record.
That's me.
Ms. Mia Purcell,
Yeah.
take it away.
So I live in Woodstock, so I don't live in Bethel anymore. But I'm here basically to tell you about some services that we're offering in partnership with the Bethel Library. I'll do that quickly, and I also wanted to give you a brief update on the broadband project. So I figured you'd like to hear that. So I'll just pass these out. These are flyers that are for the Bethel Library We're partnering with a number of different libraries here in Oxford County. And what we're doing is we have a full-time, what we call digital navigator. She's basically a person who can provide tech help to people who have a laptop, a tablet, or a smartphone. Friends and family are typically what we all turn to because we don't have anybody around that can really provide that assistance, but they're not always reliable. So anyway, this person is available at no cost. She will be going to the library on Thursdays starting in March from 2:45 until 4:45. At those times, that place doesn't work out for someone and they need assistance, she's more than willing to be flexible and come up with a different time and place to meet with them. Some of the assistance that she can provide can be really basic, like how to avoid scams and hacks by looking at different URLs for clicking on, for websites. Also, setting up an email account. There are a lot of seniors that don't have email accounts, so just telling them, how to do that basically. Purchasing a device. Sometimes people don't know what to look for purchasing a device, or they got a free device from someone and they have no clue what to do with it. But those are just some examples. But we've dealt with some pretty difficult situations where people were sharing internet service accounts, had a device that was free, they didn't know what to do with it, how to deal with it. No problem is too small or too big. So we encourage everyone to bring them, and we'll do whatever we can to help. And also, she will meet with people on an ongoing basis. We actually have a person that she's meeting with tomorrow at the library that she's been meeting with since the fall. It just, people need more help than others. I also wanted to just briefly indicate some of the other services that we have besides this partnership with the library. We have free tablets and laptops. We bought just about 200 laptops and tablets through the school system here at SAD 44, through Mike Muir, and also through Give IT, Get IT. And we've given a lot of them away to the FedCap clients because these folks are on TANF benefits and they're very low income. But we have some left over, and if there are people who cannot afford to buy a new device, we would be happy to help them out. We don't have a lot left over, but we do have some, and particularly tablets. And these are, by the way, refurbished or recycled. They're not brand new. But the ones from Give IT, Get IT are business laptops. They're Dells, and they have a 3-year warranty that comes with them, and they have Microsoft Suite on them as well. So, good product. Internet safety training, we also do that. In fact, with every device that we give to someone, we spend about half an hour with them going through internet safety protocols, just to make sure that they feel safe when they're online. And we've also partnered with SAD 44, Adult Education, in offering classes. They offer the National Digital Equity Center classes, and Julie's been doing a fabulous job in scheduling those. She's probably offered more of those classes than anyone else is, and we have 8 other partners around the county that are offering on-site classes. But these classes are also available for free in sitting in front of your computer at home. So you can go online and take them. As I said, if you're a Maine resident, which we all are, they're free. And that's about it for our services that we're offering right now. Are there any questions from anybody?
How does someone apply for the services? Do you have to go
Just
online?
call us up. Yeah. Yep. It's simple, and everything's free. We're not charging for them at all.
Cool.
So I'll move on to broadband. Just briefly, it's taken a little longer than I thought it would to actually finalize a draft contract between the towns and First Light. But there was a meeting last week where the attorney at Bernstein Schur, who's acting on behalf of the towns, and First Light met. Unfortunately, I was unable to attend that. I was in Philadelphia at a conference. But I got an email from the attorney. He said it went well. I know that there were not a lot of major comments that were made on the draft that was sent back to First Light. So we're expecting to get a final draft very soon. I haven't seen it yet, but it should come soon. And then that will come to the towns, and then you all will be signing that again, as you did last time. So, and that needs to happen before the Maine Connectivity Authority can actually sign a contract with First Light. In other words, they don't get their grant award until, I believe, the towns have actually signed on and committed their ARPA funds, because that's part of the whole package deal. Any questions? Okay, thank you. And if anyone else would like one of these, I'm happy to give you one. No? Okay.
Alright. Next up, adjustments to the agenda. I guess
There are
there are none. Next is our public hearing. Today, the public hearing is on the on-premise liquor license renewal application for Cameron Inc. doing business as Pete's Griddle located at 159 Maple Road. So at this time, I will open a public hearing for the license, liquor license renewal for Cameron Inc. doing business as Pete's Griddle. Are there any comments? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing. All right, action on the minutes. I think I have a couple things. One thing, I guess, I'll vote to approve the minutes with a couple changes. So, want to go over changes, does anybody? Did you second? Or I just,
Second.
I invented that in my mind? Yep. So on the town, this is more of a comment than a change, but on 8 town managers report, it says town manager Shannon Jackson gave her town manager's report. I'm just wondering, do we put like a town, in the minutes, do we clip a thing of the town manager's report on it, just so that people can reference?
It is in the vault, it's put with everything.
Perfect. Okay. That's all I wanted to know, because I know when I'm going back through minutes, I'm looking for like specific topics, and I feel like a lot hits in town manager's report, and then I can't find it. Under H, Frank Delvico is spelled wrong.
Which one was that?
This is Fran Delvico.
Oh, sorry.
Frank has.
And then he was trying to spell it wrong, like as a
Wrong?
French.
Oh, yeah.
So that's H.
Yeah.
Okay, there it is.
And then in J, I think the first and second sentence needs a, like, Michelle stated that, or that was her opinion. Instead of having a period between Michelle, Cole presented a proposal for the airport. The airport is infrastructure that the town agreed to have and is a boost, like, that was her, like, stating that, so she was saying she wants to make this change for those reasons. And then enterprise fund in the last sentence of that, instead of just enterprise. And then,
Just let me get there.
okay,
I wanna make sure.
okay. And then does not balance, I think should be replaced with is balanced using monies from the town's general fund. That's the whole point.
So what ends up happening is, I think last year a number was plugged in from the fund balance to balance it, but traditionally what ends up happening is at the end of the year, the revenue is not enough revenue for the cost,
Right.
and so there's an overage, and then the overage gets to the fund balance, but it's not initially planned to be that way. So it just happens to not take in the revenues that they expected to take in,
Yes.
and have a balanced budget, and it ends up going into the fund balance.
Yeah, which is why I just didn't like the way that it said the balance, the budget does not balance. Like the budget balances, there's just an overage that needs to be dealt with at the end of every year. We're not just going rogue over here. And then that's all I had. Michelle, did you have anything?
Yeah, I just had one, in that section again, page 4, it says Michelle Cole presented her proposal for the airport. They proposed to amend it to Michelle Cole presented a code amendment proposal for the airport.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else have any amendments to the notes? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor? Great, notes passed. Next up, town manager's report.
I have a follow-up to the question last week, when we did the county hazard mitigation plan approval. I did have a conversation with Abby, and a review is done every 5 years, and, that's when we can make recommendations for updates. She said that what happens is they do notify the towns when the updates, start. I don't know when that would have started because I was not here. Nobody seems to know that here either, but it will be in about 5 years, and they don't make any changes now because they've already been made. I have completed the budget reviews with the department heads, and I still have some follow-ups with some of the department heads, and I will after I get their budgets done, so they can review it to check anything that needs to be fixed. There's going to be a capital improvement plan committee on Monday the 26th, right here at 5 p.m. All members have been notified and can attend. I put that I was going to have a copy of the updated calendar in the packet for the one that I did for the town meeting. However, I didn't get to finish that this afternoon, but the public hearings are gonna be taken off, that was my intent, until after the meeting tonight, when we have our discussion, and then tomorrow I'll update them, and then I can send you a copy of the updated schedule. And I did include a copy of Jessica's ordinance schedule in here, in your packet as well. There are 4 public hearings that will be scheduled for March 6th, and that public hearing will be here at 5 p.m., and that will be right before the Selectmen's meeting. And I have given you a copy of the hearing notice that Jessica put together. That notice went into the Bethel Citizen tomorrow. Last Thursday, Amy and Jessica and I met with Kirsten Hebert, Kristen Hawley, and Jeff Warden from Maine Rural Water Association to review the problems we've been having with the outsourcing of the sewer billing. We had a really good meeting. It was about an hour and a half. They are going to address the issues that we have with communication and several of the other issues that we brought forward. Director Hebert will send me a 12-month draft contract in the next 30 days so that we can review that, and then I'll bring that in for you to review and approve that. And she will also get me the pricing if they increase. We did mail the 30-day notice of liens to 17 sewer customers on February 20th. That was yesterday. They will have until March 20th before a lien is placed on their property. 4 properties with unpaid balances for 2022 real estate taxes did foreclose yesterday on the 20th. We'll have all of that information for you at the next meeting with what the next steps are. Thursday, we did go live with Trio Web. We are experiencing a few areas of trouble spots that Trio is working with us. on to get it fixed. One, I did explain, it's with the accounts payable warrant, so that's not in the format that it usually is when you get it. Amy's off this week, so she'll be working with them again on Monday when she comes back. And yesterday, John Sikora with Western and Sampson Engineers was here for the 11 a.m. bid opening for the Mill Hill Pump Station and Route 2 sewer main improvements. There were 3 bidders. St. Laurent bid $1,884,369.50. T-Buck bid $1,371,220, and Cross Excavation bid $1,337,075. All 3 companies had representatives here when the bids were opened and read. John is going to prepare a bid tab and check all the references and the numbers to make sure that there were no calculation errors. He'll have all of the bid tabs and his recommendations ready for our March 6th meeting so that you can approve and award the bid at that time. He'll have it in advance so that I can send you all that, so you'll have enough time to review it as well. And that is all I have.
All right, next up is board and committee reports. We don't have any, so we'll move on to business items. 10A is review and approve on-premises liquor license renewal application for the Cameron Inc. doing business as Pete's Griddle located at 159 Mayville Road.
I'll move approval for the on-premise liquor license renewal application for Cameron Inc., DBA Pete's Griddle, located at 159 Naval Road.
So moved.
Second.
So it's on the table. Does anybody have any comments about this application?
I just had a curiosity question for Jess. The letter that was written to the state with regards to the expiration dates and such, do they say anything back? Did they respond at all?
They did not. No, actually, you sent me their response to that. So maybe they received it.
Yeah. They were fine with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
They kept me in the loop.
Thank you.
Made me nervous.
Thank you.
Awesome. Any other comments or questions? All right, hearing none. All those in favor? Great. Congrats.
Thank you.
Next up is 10B, review and approve application and new permit for the adult use manufacturing facility for Route 2 G&M LLC located at 518 West Bethel Road, building number 4, our favorite complex. Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the application and new permit for adult use manufacturing facility for Route 2 G&M LLC located at 518 West Bethel Road, building number 4.
Seconded.
Any comments on this application?
There were other things that said that it was attached, but I didn't see those.
Can you name?
I'm
name?
sorry. When I went through.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
a lot of stuff said not applicable, but why wouldn't it be applicable? Like, there was NAL, a lot,
Like date of birth, for example?
yeah, and it said attach a copy of your identification and proof of lawful residence, and it says NA.
I think it's because it's an LLC that is, that's, the name of the applicant isn't a person, it's an LLC, so the entity is different, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
I believe so, that's what.
Anybody? That's what I would assume, because you're like protected liability as an individual, so you wouldn't put your birthday. But maybe, maybe there's another way to get like a business number or something on there in lieu of that kind of information, but that's not for today.
And then, like, this is just probably me being confused, but it said, there on page 2, it says, note, adult use and medical marijuana business cannot be located in the same facility,
Right.
right? But then,
It's, remember they have like different buildings.
Yeah.
We did this song and dance last time.
sorry,
It's different buildings, so I think it doesn't count as the same location.
okay.
So like Everett's, for example, they built that little tiny shed on their property and then it kind of fell into, it's a gray area for sure, but there's nothing, I think, legally saying, no, you can't do it. I got thrown off.
I don't know, and just it says, yes, attach evidence, but it says attached, but I don't see.
Attached copy of a lease subject to
My-
following.
I may do that, this was how many pages
Oh,
were attached.
Okay.
So when I had Courtney go through it and she wrote the letter,
I see, okay.
I sort of made that because the lease was incredibly long and all of that. So I did make sure that Courtney had it, she had the whole packet, went through everything. If you do want me to give you, if it's this huge, I can. It's just, this was one of the biggest ones I'd seen, and it was literally,
The lease?
that was my,
Did we not see that at the last meeting too?
you may
Okay.
have, I don't recall, but it ended up being longer than other ones, so, my apologies, I'm not that.
No, that's
case,
okay,
but
that makes sense.
I did make sure that Courtney
Yeah,
had
yeah,
the
yeah.
whole package, and had gone through it, and I tried to make sure you had the application part to read, but that's one of the reasons it was just a very large, piece of paper.
You ready to vote on this?
One more.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't see a date stamp on here when this was received. The select board needs to act within 45 days of the application being received. We're gonna assume it's the last date that's on here. I mean, the date of the application is September 28th, 2023. The property owner signed on February 14th, 2024. And then there's another date, I think, back in January. And just to cover ourselves, since we need to perform within a certain amount of time, I would kindly request either, I'm not sure where these applications come into, if the code enforcement officer or the clerk.
It was on my desk, we do try to state stamp and everything, and my apologies that this was not, but Courtney wrote her letter on the 15th, and I gave it to you just a day or so before that, so it would have been right around that. And that when I get them on my desk, that goes, so they tended to give it to me on that, so I'll make sure that happens in the future.
Thank you, and I would ask if we could amend the motion to approve pending, just kind of like an affidavit, if you just put down what date you think you received it and sign it. I think that would work as a kind of an affidavit.
Shows application date up here.
And the application date is well beyond the 45 days, so she's saying.
Yeah, I mean, we can make assumptions here because we do have, signature, other dates, but if somebody's just picking it up quickly, to see that received.
I'll second that amended motion.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice catch, Michelle.
We'll make sure that everything has a stamp on it when it's received.
All those in favor? Super. Okay. So now we're reviewing or approving application from Jeff Sloan to be appointed to the Conservation Committee. How many outstanding seats are there? How many seats
There are
do we
2
fill?
seats in the
2 seats?
Conservation Commission that are open, so this would fill the 2 seats in the Conservation Commission.
I guess that answers my out. Alrighty, I would vote to approve the application from Jeff Sloan to be appointed to the Conservation Committee.
Second.
Any comments? All those in favor?
Should I not vote, or should I?
Why would you vote?
I'm on the commission. It's okay.
Does he pay you money?
No.
All right, then we're good.
We're the 10th.
You're good. All right, approved. Next is to review or approve the application from Julie Reef. How do you say that name? Reef, right? Reef. To be appointed to the Conservation Committee. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Great. Any comment? Okay. All those in favor? Excellent. Oh my gosh, the Bethel Conservation Committee, that is fancy. All right, review and approve the list of the 2024 election clerks. Should I read their names? Yes. Okay. 2024 Bethel election clerks will be Carol Everett, Robert Everett, Edie Oakenquist, Jeff Sloan, Sarah Sloan, Cindy Salisbury Sumner, Marilyn Swan, Lee Hughes, and Darren Goya. Good old Darren.
Also move it.
Second. Any comment? All those in favor? Excellent. Next up is to review and approve the request from Scott Sumner to waive the bid process to purchase a 2021 used Wacker RD12A-90 twin can vibratory roller 1.2 ton with approximately 174 hours for $15,500. Tell us, Scott Sumner.
Last year at town meeting, we approved to spend up to $15,000 to replace our old rollers. We've been searching off and on since then. Earlier in the year, none available. They were all, most of them in the rental fleet. Realizing we were getting towards the end of the budget cycle here this fiscal year, we started looking again. There are a few around. We found one, it is actually now in Gorham, New Hampshire. This model, it was just listed here. It is for $15,500. We have $15,000 in the capital budget, and then I have some equipment money left. It's over the $10,000 threshold, so I don't know if we need a bid, but we found some comparable machines, comparably priced. Some of them are a little too far away to go kick the tires, check them out, and a lot more hours. This seems like we've physically seen this machine.
Yeah.
It's a lot newer than what we were anticipating, but it doesn't have very many hours on it either. I would wish your blessing to
I would like it. Sure. I would make the motion that we approve the request from Scott Sumner to waive the bid process to purchase a 2021 used Wacker RD12A-90 twin can vibrator roller 1.2 ton with approximately 174 hours for
Second.
$15,000. Okay, any comments, guys? All right, all those approved? Great.
easier than I thought it was going to be. Thank you.
No problem, Scott. Okay. G, review or approve the 2025 wage increases. So everyone, yeah, sorry.
No, that's okay. I put together a spreadsheet for you. I'm requesting a 3.2% increase for you to look at for wage increases for all of the positions this year. It's in your folder. There's a folder.
Manila folder.
Yes, right.
Pardon me.
Manila folder.
I took everything in there. Thank you.
And those are in the salmon color under the COLA 3.2%. One column is the hourly wage, the other column is the salary wage, so you can see what the 3.2% is. And then in the light green color, those three positions, I would recommend a wage adjustment, because they're a little lower than what, the other towns are. I did look at several, wages in other towns. Dave Hanscom did give me a list that he had put together from other towns within rescue, and then I looked at a couple others, and we are probably average with most of the towns. Some of the positions are a little higher than us, some are a little lower, but overall, we're basically average. These three here, I did feel that there should be an adjustment. The other ones that I didn't do an adjustment to, but I can tell you they are a lot lower than other towns, and those are the three equipment operators in Public Works. Right now, we have those as $21 and $22 and change, and actually, two of them are $21.01 and one is $21.50. The average for those positions are between 23 and 24. So, but I didn't change them. I thought I would tell you about them, and then it shows in the salmon color what the 3%, 3.2% would be, bringing one up to 22.19 and the other two up to 21.68. So I included all of, well, the majority of the stipend positions, the firefighters, the rescue, all the full-time positions. Those are all at 3.2. And the three that I was recommending for a wage adjustment, I did not do a 3%, I just put them where their average wage shows with other towns. And then you wanted to see also I showed you the cost of the retirement and also the medical that we pay. If you don't understand my chart, I'll be happy to explain it to you. Sometimes it's hard to understand some of these charts.
Okay, I do have a question. As far as the fire department, you said that you did not put, I don't know what you said about that.
I added 3.2%, yes. So if you look at the salmon color column, the first one where it shows 3.2% increase COLA hourly for the next budget year, and then if you look 2 columns before that in the white, it shows the hourly for FY24. That shows you what it is now, and then the salmon color shows you what it would be with the 3.2. Yes, all of the positions in fire, rescue, transfer, the sewer department, public works, administration, miscellaneous positions. Some I didn't do any increases to, that's up to you to decide. That would be the selectmen, assessors, and the SAD 17 directors. I left those the way they are. One change, I actually should have highlighted that in green, and that is for the recreation director, and I forgot to highlight that in green. Currently, that position is a stipend position. The job description for that job shows it's a part-time position, not a stipend position, and based on the stipend that individual is receiving, based on a 20 hours a week, that person would actually be making less than the state minimum wage, and they'd be making $10 an hour. So when I met with him with his budget, he does average a minimum of 20 hours a week. So it made sense to bring him in at 20 hours a week, and so that's what I'm recommending, is that his position become a part-time position instead of a stipend paid, and he's paid 20 hours a week for 20 hours. And even 20 an hour is low for a recreation director, but I felt that was an average. answer any questions. Under the column for the medical, to explain that, they run on a calendar year, we run on a fiscal year. So when we get the annual prices that are January to December, I have to look at 6 months of their schedule that we're currently on and use the rate from fiscal year '24, and then I have to use the next 6 months that there's no estimate for, and then I usually take what their average increase has been, and generally for Bethel, the 7.5% is usually what the policy you have increases every year.
You said you did a comparison, or you haven't done a comparison yet when it comes to these different positions in different towns, specifically the fire department and rescue. I was just interested in knowing what the average, like, is that a normal number?
Well, some of the positions are a little bit higher paid here, some are lower,
Okay.
and some are average. So this is why, in looking at them, I didn't change it.
Okay.
I
Does
left
the
it the way
department
it is.
overall kind of balance
Yeah.
out? Okay.
Sarah, what's the said 44 6 positions?
So, there are 6 school board directors, and here, the towns, in the school board budget, they're paid a stipend for being a school board member, but also the towns here pay them a stipend. So each school board director receives $312 a year,
Do we have 6 representatives?
and
in
you
the
have
school board?
6.
6
Well,
from Bethel?
What's
You
it?
do? Dang. Okay.
But there's more than 6 members to the school board.
Yeah, but we
Oh,
would have
there
been
are,
finalists.
right, but those that are in Woodstock or Greenwood, their towns,
Okay.
Pay for it.
their towns pay a stipend for them for that.
And they have representatives.
So this is just those that are in Bethel.
And you said they get paid by the school too?
Yes, we checked that out.
On the wrong board, Pat.
I doubt they get the total that we do.
All right.
Are there any, are any of these positions, do they need to be more, or,
So the public works equipment operators are quite low?
They are lower. The average for the 3 bottom ones are, I would say the average is at least $23.
Is there a reason for this?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Some of our part-time people can only make a certain amount of
Okay, that's
money.
kind of what I figured.
So they don't wanna be paid what some of the others are being paid. They're part-time, they wanna work, they're retired, and they just want something to do, so they
Mhm.
take on part-time jobs, but they can't make over a certain amount of money based on where they are when they retire.
As long as it's not an injustice, I'm
No.
happy. Do we wanna talk about the public works equipment operators, or do we wanna leave that to a different time? What would we like to do?
well, I was also just thinking, like, the fire department, they're all stipended, but are they working a lot more hours than, like, should it be a stipended position, or should it be?
The positions that are stipend are the officers. They have a stipend position, and they get a stipend for that officer's position, like whether they're a captain, a lieutenant, or a assistant fire chief. But if they actually go on a fire, they're paid their hourly rate.
Okay.
So they could be a firefighter 1, 2, or 3. So if they go on a call, they get paid the hourly rate for whatever their class status. And then, like Mike, he is the chief. He gets a stipend for being the chief, but if he goes on a call, he gets an hourly wage based on whatever his classification is for going on that call. And the same thing with rescue.
And the stipend's proposed to go up the 3.2%.
I put, yes, I included a 3.2 for all of the stipends, in addition to the hourly wages for both rescue and fire. The animal control is exactly the same. He just started. He's paid very well. And the animal control officer here is paid very well compared to a lot of the other towns. So I did not propose any increases to that. Let's see.
Would, could the recreation director, like that one, he just gets a stipend, oh no, it is hourly now.
I'm proposing that he be paid hourly, 20 hours a week.
Okay. Could he work more than 20 hours a week, or is it kind of, is there enough work? Or could there be enough, could we grow that?
The position can grow. I think what I would recommend is that this year it stayed this way, and then based on how he progresses in programs and the next year, and we can watch that to see. I don't know if there is enough here to warrant a full-time position. I haven't had enough time to, look at that. He did not mention that he felt it should be a full-time position.
Okay.
Do we have a job description yet on the new hire?
Which new hire?
It says new, oh, is that for a few, oh, it's when
Oh,
you
no,
do that?
those two there I'm still playing with. That is, that's for the manager's position.
Okay.
And going down the assessing and planning assistant.
Yeah.
So,
There will be an ad in the paper next Thursday in the Bethel Citizen for the part-time assessing assistant and the part-time planning assistant. And those will be 30 hours each.
and
I mean, 15 hours each.
Yeah, I was like,
30,
I was like, wow.
30 total.
Courtney's like, what the hell?
And I've got it written, just part-time 15 hours.
and the COLA rate is less than the hourly rate? Is it adjusting?
No, I'm recommending that the job be posted at $20 an hour, not $22, $24.
Is there gonna be one position or one person?
So there is a job description for both of them. My recommendation is, and I talked to Courtney about this, is the position can be combined to one part-time position as a planning and an assessing assistant, which that's what Courtney had, even though there was 2 part-time jobs. But I would like to see it advertised as one position to do both. And then maybe that position can grow to a full-time position next year, adding other duties to it.
Should we combine them in the budget, or what's the benefit of keeping them separate?
I don't wanna keep them separate, I want,
Oh, you
I
want
want-
to combine them?
yes, I wanna
Ew.
combine the
I
2,
understand. Oh, okay,
assessing,
okay, okay.
I wanna combine the assessing and the planning job descriptions into one
Yeah,
and advertise for one part-time
Yeah.
position for both duties.
okay, yes, okay, I'm on board.
Okay.
So would it be just the 15,600? Or is it gonna be the third?
No, it would be the 30. It would be, because it would be a total of 30 hours.
Okay. Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve, the wage increases outlined in this document for Sharon.
Are you looking for an approval tonight?
It's an approval to go to budget.
Are you looking
Yes.
for us to, okay. then-
Yes.
So you're approving what has been presented tonight, the way it's been presented tonight?
So the question would be, do you accept that? The way it sits, the way it is?
Oh, no, I just wanna clarify that that's what we're voting on.
I think
Because of the items in green and the three of the public works that are not,
Well, we haven't commented on it, so there's been no direction on that.
okay.
So I wanted to ask a little bit more information on that.
Yeah.
If I recall, last year, just as an observer from afar, were there some wage adjustments done in the Public Works Department last year?
Yes, there was.
So were those, like, those three positions, if anyone recalls, were they raised to the 2021 last year?
They were, it was very, very low
Yeah.
before that.
No, thank you, I think it's important to have that background.
Yeah.
And the difference in the rate of one from the other three, does one have more of a supervisory position, or?
These guys are mechanics.
So the public works mechanic, you generally see that position higher anyway.
Yeah.
And then the assistant public works director. Both of them have different years of seniority, but I believe when you did it last year, it was felt that those two positions should be the same wage. Is that correct?
Yeah, the way it had always been in the past, those two positions paid the same.
Okay.
They really,
And the work is relatively the same?
yes,
Okay.
yeah. Mechanic's not only inside the garage, but he's outside the garage if we need him.
Yeah.
The sub-foreman is trying to
all the
oversee, and
Yeah.
it's, they're about the only two employees we had left on the docket last August,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I remember from the year before that, I see here Public Works Equipment Operator, are those all the same? Or is one of them doing a little bit different job that would require,
The difference in there right now, before, everybody used to be the same rate of pay.
yeah,
The difference in there right now, there's two Class B truck drivers that went to school, that we sent them to school, and then we have a Class A driver
okay,
with experience, is the higher number of
Okay.
those three that you're reading
Yeah,
right there
yeah.
right now.
so, right, I wanna recognize the
The
job
talent.
description skill, that's needed to be brought to the position. Yeah. I mean, why don't we just look, I mean, I would propose, there's a differential there, I mean, the 23.5, and then 23.01, 23.01. 23 is the average for our area.
These are all, if I remember correctly, new hires. The operators are new hires, and some of them came with no experience, that we put them to school, if I remember right. So, that, to me, that's part of we gave them an opportunity to become operators, and so that hence is that's where the wage came from. I would say that once the experience level and rises that, that I forgot the term that the town manager used, but,
Seniority.
no, to be able to bring up the pay appropriately with the amount of experience. But that would be, I would think, a recommendation from the department head that has been accomplished as far as experience goes. And that was discussed when, to do the hiring, that we didn't, that the department head came to us and explained that he didn't feel as though that he could offer enough money to create enough interest for people to take the job. So we raised the pay, and now to be able to get people that had no experience into the workforce. Now that they're in the workforce, they're developing experience. When our department head comes to us and says, you know what, these people have the experience and command more money, that would be the time, I think, to make the adjustment.
Can I just offer something?
Sure.
The towns of Norway, I'm gonna use Norway and Oxford and Paris, their wages for this same position is 23 and 24 and change. And I know one of these individuals lives in that area. So one of the things that I will, excuse me, tell you the town of Oxford has been challenged with in the past year is the loss of 5 different operators. And the reason for that is because Oxford's wage was so low. So Oxford ended up going union in their highway department to get higher wages than theirs did. And that is something that I don't like to see happen, but it did happen. And so I think that when you send someone to school, the other problem that creates, well, it doesn't create a problem, but that person now is trained for a Class A or for a Class B, and they can go in any of the other towns and make $2 more an hour. So that's why I mentioned earlier, and I probably should have put the $2 extra in here to bring them to $23.50 to $22.01, $23.01 and $23.01, but I didn't do it, and I probably should have. But the last thing you want to do is lose your highway operaters in the
Especially in
middle
a
of the
ski
winter.
resort.
And we were challenged with that happening last year in Oxford. In fact, I think we still have one position that is not filled yet. So that's
can
just
always
something to consider.
Present it to budget, and if budget doesn't like it, then it won't get approved. but-
Well, it's us.
Based,
It's us, they don't do anything with
They don't.
wages.
Oh, we only do.
Yeah, yeah,
oh,
yeah.
okay.
based on that information, then we should include it. We should just include it and resolve any kind of issue as far as it looking better at a town down the road, 30 minutes down the road.
There wasn't any agreement, was there, if they went, that they were committed to the town for, you know, sometimes you have this
I
training.
asked for that,
Yeah.
so. I
So
feel
there
like-
was a commitment, so they're committed here for 2 years.
Correct.
Okay, they just did year 1, they were now in year 2.
Correct.
I mean, if we've invested in training them, I feel like we should,
Invest in them.
yeah, invest, I mean, these, I know Toby's young, or I don't know, the other, everybody's young.
Or just plan for a more substantial raise when they finish their commitment to us.
I will
They're
check on that, but
trying to live
I'm
in
pretty
this
sure I
area
already
on
have, and
$21
legally,
just-
because we tried to do that with our police officers, and you can't legally have someone
Next door.
commit to staying if you put them in training.
I would just propose raising it now and creating a good faith
Yeah.
situation than holding back. I mean, that's based on what we're being told.
So the changes there, if I'm hearing everyone correctly, it would be the 2150 would go up to 2250, and the 2101 would go up to 2301 for the public works equipment operators for next season.
I would actually do the
2350, it says the Class A,
yeah,
2350.
2350. Yeah.
yes. It's $2 on each.
If
Oh,
he's- if he's got a
and
class-
24.
He's
Yeah.
got a class A, that's it, and these guys are 2 class Bs, it's hard
Okay.
to find drivers. But, 2301, 2301,
I'm sorry, say that again?
2350 for the class A,
Yep.
2301 and 2301
Okay.
for the class Bs.
Got it. Thank you. All right, with those changes, would we, I think I still need a second, don't I?
Yeah, Michelle Cole proposed, we do need a second.
I second it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, for these 3 here.
Yeah, Michelle.
Oh, okay, then I will second the amendment.
I just have one more question. The park monitor.
So I didn't put anything there. I have done that budget. That is for Angevine Park.
Where is she?
Is that the one you're looking at?
Yeah, well, is it in here? I've just not seen it.
Yeah, I guess I'm not seeing you either.
No, I took it off here.
Oh, okay.
No, I took it off here. But I did not change it in the budget. I left it the way it was.
So it's not on here, but it is included in the budget?
It's in the budget, in the Angevine budget, and I left it as the same wage as it
It's
as
a
it
stipend?
was. It's a stipend.
Okay. So, any other comments?
Just, and we're still, for the positions that are applicable for the main paid leave, that's all working out okay? This is what, like, year 3, that's year 2, are we at, year 3 for main paid leave?
Main paid leave.
The work 40 hours, get an hour, up to 40 hours. It's the one that benefits, it's the law that benefits basically giving sick time to part-time personnel.
Oh, we give over and above what that is, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for the full-time people, they don't, it's one and the
Not
same.
applicable?
But the part-time, there's some positions, and I'm not recalling which ones.
I'll look at that.
Yeah, that'd be
What's
great.
it called?
Main paid leave, I think it was in 2021. Municipalities are a little bit different than for-profits.
You have to work, you have to work a certain amount of hours to get that.
Yeah,
I'll take a look at that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Transfer station employees fall under that,
They do.
those guidelines, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's working out okay then.
Yes.
And then, of course, we have the overtime piece.
And anyone that works overtime, over 40 hours a week, they're paid time and a half.
And so the transfer station positions, those that,
They're all,
just look okay to, I mean,
There's a reason that's like.
oh, that's what you
Yeah.
were talking about, okay. All right.
I did the same thing, I was like,
I saw you point, but I
Yeah.
didn't know, but, okay, all right. And, sorry, going back though now, the rec position is one of the lowest hourly, I don't know, does that matter, or?
I think that's good right where it is.
Yeah, I feel like there's like essential services and then there's extra stuff, and when we have the money to do extra stuff, that's awesome, but we should focus on it, like, essential services first.
Some would argue that it's essential services. Yeah, right? You could go the other way.
Sorry, what did you say?
I said some could argue that is an
I know,
essential
I mean,
service.
I do,
But anyway.
think, like, keeping people healthy
Yeah.
with recreation is essential.
I think the biggest thing here is getting us out of the potential labor law violation.
The what?
The potential labor law violation that we would have if we had continued with the stipend. So I think this gets us up and out of that, so.
Just a little treasure trove. Okay. All right, so Are we all set with the wage changes that we made with public works equipment operators and then the green highlighted amendments proposed by Sharon? Okay, all those in favor? Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now the fun stuff. H, review and approve Schedule A for the codification project review. So the process for this codification after approval is just to go to public hearing?
Jessica?
Yes, there is, you will review this tonight. If there are any changes, that would go back to the code review. They would incorporate those changes, and then there would be a second, we have one more revision of Schedule A that's included in the contract that the town signed. That would be the one that would come back. You'd make sure you were satisfied with that, and that would go to, public hearing and then to the review. The Schedule A that you got here are all what would be termed substantive changes. The changes that occurred that were like grammar, spelling, selectmen to select.
Yeah, we're not worried about it.
Yeah, those will come in the final warrant article, so they will still be voted on. But we just kept this to the substantive piece.
Yeah.
And that would be included, and the code review, general code will provide, once we're done, the warrant article wording and everything for, to be put into the warrant in June.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
On 548 scene D, which is 5-8, I would just recommend where it was Adelphia and we're changing it to Spectrum, I would take Spectrum out of there and put,
Service provider or whatever.
yeah, or something, because the
I had that
Spectrum
noted too.
changes.
Which page is that on?
It's 5-H,
It's under G, I'm sorry, yeah, it's under G, no, H.
it's under H, 5, under
Oh, I
chapter
got it.
5H, which
Yeah.
is actually code 548.
Yeah, we did ask them that.
Yeah.
If there was a generic,
Yep.
term that you could put there.
In E, is capital plan fine, or is it supposed to be capital improvement plan?
The budget and capital plan shall be due to
Just capital.
It's a capital plan.
It is capital plan, okay, cool. And then. Oh, my eyes are getting all them. The references to Bethel Police Department, are we keeping them in there as like placeholders in case one was to ever come back?
Yes, we posed that question to general code, Michelle had brought that up in our discussion,
Yeah,
and this is what they came back that they had done with other towns.
yeah.
Because in order to make all of those changes, it's quite a process, because you have to go through every one, but
So just have the
putting this
backup.
in, it does allow you as a placeholder, and if down the road, if Bethel Police came back or something, but every place that the Bethel Police Department is mentioned in the code, there would be that as a.
Or the county contract.
Right.
That's like one or the other. Okay, cool.
But that was their recommendation for kind of solving the problem with Bethel Police Department still being in the code without creating.
And they're doing an editor's note on that, right?
On
Yeah.
every time that
Yeah.
occurs in the code, it will be an
So
editor's
there's a,
note.
Okay.
And that will show up in
and
this
this
document
piece
here.
here that you
the one-
have,
Yeah, those are all,
the editor's note wherever police chief and police came.
Oh, that's that backup part.
Yes.
Okay, oh, I understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
the first editor's note, oh, yes.
She
right.
had done that, but hadn't included it in the Schedule A, and when Michelle asked about it, cause she felt it was, at this point, sort of more of a housekeeping than a substantive, cause all of those ordinances substantively stayed the same. You're just noting that the Bethel Police Department, it doesn't exist at this time, and it's the Oxford Sheriff's Department that is.
Another thing that I saw in chapter 136 signs, under C, section 136(9)E, it's talking about seasonal agriculture signs, in it has a sentence that says signs may advertise only fruits and vegetables that are available for immediate purchase. It feels like a pretty intense thing to require of a sign, because, I mean, sometimes there's kale and sometimes there's not kale, but it's just like you'd have to change your sign every day.
So,
Like,
that-
why is that there, I guess?
So
is
that
my
was,
question.
so all it's doing here is that it's not changing any of what was there before. What it's doing here is, in the definition of signs, it had the performance standard of it can only do this, or not erect more. As you can see on the following page, it was in the definition. So all it's simply doing is removing it from the definition and then inserting it under the agricultural signs for performance standard. So it should be the same terminology, just,
You see it's crossed off. Yeah, let me just read it. Signs may advertise only those fruits and vegetables that are available
Yeah.
for immediate purchase. Nobody follows that rule.
so that's essentially what that's doing. It's taking it out of the definition because it's performance standard, and it's putting it
Okay.
into the performance standard part.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
Thank you, Michelle.
Yep, you know, because I was like doing the same thing, so.
It's really intense. Every single day you gotta drop a new sign. What else?
The only thing, I tried to go through, our packet that had the individual and kind of make sure that, I try to do that. The only thing is, and maybe there's a purpose for it, chapter 62, which is the single-use bags, that was gonna be repealed. And I didn't notice that in here because the state statute overrules everything. Overrules anybody who has a single-use bag. Yeah, that's the only thing. I don't know if.
No, I know.
So are you
Yes.
talking about that we would have it removed completely from our
Yeah.
ordinance at this point?
What happens if it changed at the state level?
If it changes at the state level, it's still at the state level. They suggested to remove and repeal chapter 62. And they,
Oh, repeal,
to remove that
remove
chapter.
and repeal because something's coming through at the state level?
It's
so
already
not-
there.
It's already-
Oh, it's already
It
there.
came like 3 months after we did
So you're
ours.
thinking it should be here just crossed out to know that it has been removed? Is that
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Okay.
because we have to vote, that's part of
Yeah,
what you have to
yes.
vote on.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll ask her about
Yeah,
that.
how does-
And
how
it
does-
may be, since it's completely removed, it may be in the larger packet of the
Maybe,
entire book,
yeah.
like the select board or select.
Yeah.
Because it's, again, it is a substantive change, but it's not because the state statute over, but I'll follow up with safety
Yeah,
fines and
just
find out.
how are they gonna note that so people know?
Yeah.
What was that, Michelle? They repealed, they changed,
What's
The state statute for single-use bags and plastics use is the overriding, overarching law of the land for the state of Maine. And so all these towns that had a single use, like we did, we got overruled by the state.
I didn't realize they done
What was
Yeah.
the nature of the state's law?
This is what general code,
It's pretty much the same.
yeah.
It's the same,
Ours
yeah.
ours is pretty much the same.
Yeah,
It's polystyrene and single-use plastic bags.
oh, got it,
that.
okay.
And
Makes
when,
sense.
because ours had gone into effect and then, what was it was during COVID.
Yeah.
the plastic bags coming back, the grocery store, they said it was because the state had, I think, put a, what do you call it, not a moratorium?
Moratorium.
Is that when you put a
Yeah.
pause on it? Yeah, I think they had put a pause on the state law for that. Because
Right.
of COVID, and then, but
Right.
then, even though we had the law in place, it was, we couldn't,
Right, and I think we actually suspended it, we had emergency situations, and the town manager could suspend it or something like that during the measures, and then the state took
So
over.
the state's,
And then,
the state is more restrictive than what we have in ours, right?
okay, so,
I think it's pretty close, it's just that they took the law of the land. I'll read you what the code said.
Okay.
You get there.
I can find
the
it.
So-
state one might be, include the 5 cent.
It says that our chapter 62 was adopted in 2019 and provides that no store in town can sell or provide, blah, 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 blah. And this local legislation regulating plastic bags has been preempted by state law. See, and they cite the law, plastic bag reduction, section 5 of this section states, to ensure maximum effectiveness through uniform statewide application. So that's more what they're doing, the uniform application. The state intends to occupy the whole field of regulation of single-use carry-out bags at retail establishments beginning March 17, 2020. A local government may not adopt an ordinance regulating single-use carry-out bags at retail establishments. And beginning January 15, 2021, any ordinance or regulation that violates this subsection is void and has no force or effect.
Okay,
So,
so easy squeezy, cross it out. And add it to the list. And then I just had a regular, just like, I don't know, more of a housekeeping question. When we add things like late fees as set forth in the fee schedule, are we writing it down somewhere so that when we review the fee schedule, we have like, where we changed things from like, in this case, it was a $50 fine, and then it was replaced, this is under signs again, signs A. It was replaced with a fee as set forth by the fee schedule, so we need to set that fee. Is there somewhere that a document is being made so that we can?
No.
She has that. Yeah. Sweet.
And some where the fee went up to a certain number, was that just a number? I was wondering how those numbers were.
Some of them are based on what state law says. There's a number of one that had like a maximum of 2,500
Yeah.
that has now changed to 5,000, so we did that. Then on the others, like the sidewalk,
Yeah, the ice
thing.
Yeah.
um,
It's like $25 now.
we conferred, Jess came up with, looked at some other towns, and I think it was like $5, and
Yeah, it
she didn't
was-
find anything less than
Most of them were like $20 or $25.
25. Yeah,
You know, any town that I could find, you know, Portland, Norway, South Paris, I tried to get a variety, and just in this day and age, nothing's $5.
I know.
yeah, so that's, on
Can't
the
even
other
get-
ones,
But I
that's.
did try to
Yeah.
compare it to towns
Okay.
in this part of the state.
Cool.
So that wasn't just a random.
Well, thank you guys for going through all this. It's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. All right, do we need to approve this, or what would we like to do?
Yeah, so if we approve it tonight, then you said it goes back for any review, or is there anything?
If it's approved as is, then it would just go to the public hearing. It's tentatively scheduled to go to the 6th for the other ones, though I haven't advertised that. That wouldn't be advertised until after you guys passed it. If there are any changes that you wanted to make, I would need to take those back to Sandy Carney and then decide if the couple of changes you are requesting may be able to be done and put forward.
And the other packet.
That would then change the schedule when we go to public hearing with it. And it may also, depending on what you do with the next one, the LD 2003, those may need to be coupled together with a later public hearing. So far, what I have, my understanding from you guys with the changes, is looking for a generic term for Adelphi and Spectrum, which didn't go through, and then Michelle had the question about noting that chapter 62 would be totally removed because state statute supersedes it, and how that would be noted in the Schedule A, or how they are noting it, whether they didn't note it here, but are noting it in the bigger package that will come later as more of a housekeeping piece. And then that's it so far for content, and then just requesting that we have a list of any of those fee schedule pieces that you will need to deal with a little bit further down the road. So it's just, at this point, my understanding, those two things.
Yeah.
As far as substantive, sort of substantive items.
Yeah, generic term, you could just put in internet service provider
Yeah.
for Adelphi.
Not just generated,
Okay.
cable.
Well, the other is cable.
Yeah.
You gotta
TV.
put both of them, yeah.
Internet service and cable provider. So we can just have her,
Actually, cable falls under internet service, but if you feel like you need to distinguish, you can.
Well, the towns sometimes sign up with contracts with the cable providers, and that's
Right.
where the kickback we get, that helps us pay for television, Watt TV. I'm not sure where Bethel stands with its contract with Spectrum, but that might be a reason to keep them separate.
Yeah.
We can check with the code.
Internet and cable service provider, is that what you put?
yeah,
Sure.
internet service and cable, internet and cable service provider, yes, it's.
Is that what you said?
Something like,
Yeah.
some generic terms.
Internet.
What you
Yeah,
would do is
service
say
provider.
cable
Private
TV
provider.
provider. because
Yes.
That's what they are. Yeah,
Mhm.
otherwise they are just an internet service provider.
So
Yeah,
what
that's
did you word?
Cable TV.
Yeah.
And cable TV.
Right, because you can
Okay.
have internet services.
Internet and
cable.
cable TV, internet and cable TV provider, there you go.
Yeah.
And I can just have her make that change if you agree to it, and then that would remove that substantive and we can bring it to public hearing,
Okay,
if you're in agreement as to that, the change that you want to.
so I would make a motion that we approve the changes that we put forth and move it back to, what's the code name again?
Sadie comes.
Sadie.
Sadie.
I'll second it.
Okay, any comments, guys? All those in favor?
Pat, are you in favor now?
I'm sorry.
May I ask for just a quick clarification?
Sure.
Just for my scheduling.
Yeah.
So, do you want it brought back on the 6th for a final vote with those two items and then go
Yeah.
to public hearing? All right, I just wanna make sure
Does that sounds right to everybody else?
So it wouldn't be in a public hearing on the 6th?
No, because there's no time to advertise, right?
correct.
Yeah.
I had it tentatively set to advertise next Thursday for the 6th if you passed it as is, but I'll just remove that off the list. So it will just be the ones that are on the list that you have in front of you.
Okay,
And then, this will have to be, we will come up with another schedule once we're sure you've passed.
okay.
On the 6th.
10I, review proposed LD 2003 amendments to chapter 140 site plan review and proposed LD 2003 amendments to chapter 150 subdivision. Felt like a copy paste situation.
There's a single page at our seat, is that?
So that single page was given to, Jim gave me that at the beginning of the night. They reviewed that, and this is what they're offering for their questions and or comments from ORC. When, last week,
That's the LD 2003,
What's that?
that's for the LD 2003.
Yes.
Mhm.
And are we not, is that where we're on, because I,
Yeah, that's where we're.
Yes,
okay with
it
it.
is.
okay.
The LD 2003 was sent, had Courtney follow up last week with Mary Costigan. And so she sent Courtney and I the LD for the change to chapter 150, the subdivision, and the chapter 140 to the site plan review, which is what we've given to you. And I also sent that to Jim, and I told him that you were going to be looking at this tonight if he wanted to review it and make any recommendations. So that's what you're looking at, is the sheet that Jim gave us at the beginning of the meeting, and Mary's recommendations on the rewrite to both sections.
In, on the first page under A, the purpose, says to comply with the policies of the Bethel Comprehensive Plan. Do we have that?
It's outdated, but it exists.
It's a 1988.
I think it's like 90.
93
It
years.
was 19, maybe 1993, 1996.
I was
and then
thinking
we-
94 or 96.
And then we implemented it over a period of several years, so the implementation was completed by 2003. Something like that. These little blue books.
Yeah, they're little tiny
Yeah, I
books.
have
I had
those.
to use a magnifying glass to read it. And it has streets that don't exist anymore, and reference all through it. So were you proposing that what were you proposing?
I don't know, well, I have a question about like.
Why are we
if it's
referencing
in that
something?
language, yeah, if it's in the language, is that,
I think maybe if ever we were to have another one, it might be nice to just have it in there,
yeah.
dreaming.
No, I feel like it's gonna be a stupid question, but why is the, for the owned housing,
Can you state where you're,
well, it's in multiple places, but the first place I have it circled is on the second page, 8B.
8B?
Yeah, just 8, when it says remain limited to households at or below 120% of the local area median income, why is it over 100%? Just because it's in multiple places, I mean, it's throughout the statute.
I don't know why they got it, but it's based on a percentage of, the poverty percentage. We've got it in
But
other
it
things.
says it's based of the median, so median's right in the middle, right?
Right,
And so
so like,
it's saying it's above the median, right?
so it'd be like 60%.
Right. Okay.
So, I'm not sure,
Okay, because it does state in there that specification, that's why it was put in. That's why I was wondering.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
is it relevant to
throughout that-
zoning though? As opposed to,
We don't have,
I know, that's why I'm saying, like, is it referencing something that is part of, like,
I
zoning?
don't know, I saw that in a bunch of places in my whole thing too.
Yeah, no,
So
It's not a
those
stupid
documents,
Like,
the reference that's in here is because it's in there, right?
Yes.
Right, it's trying to
For reference,
define,
main housing maintains updated 80% of area median income and 120% of area median income data on their website, but it discusses like for rentals, the specifications, and then for home ownership projects, it lists that 120%, which is what the state essentially told.
I was just wondering,
Yeah.
like, is it gonna result in people getting to use the housing that aren't really, that it, you know, that it's, they don't need? Does that make sense? What I'm trying, like, if you're above the median income, do you need affordable housing?
Well, it says that no more than 120%. So if you're under that threshold, you still can own it. It's, you can't have any more than that percentage.
Right.
and then there's also a second criteria that,
It should say on here.
the 30%, have 30% of the lodging of your spending more than 30% of the household's monthly
Right.
income, so there's that other piece that goes with it. So these are the definitions,
And the definitions for,
these two.
Right, 'cause it's just defining what affordable means.
Yeah.
Got it.
I reached out to Mary Foster in the meeting for this one. I don't
and then
know.
another question I had was on this site plan review, the fourth page. And it's down where it's underlined again, so it's the added part. So the construction of 4 detached or attached dwelling units, it talks about it being located in a designated growth area. But then when you go to the next line, 14, construction of up to 3 detached or attached dwelling units on a lot that contains one existing dwelling unit, does that also have to be in a designated growth area? It's on page 4. Again, I think it's in multiple places.
Construction.
Page 4, page 30.
Yes.
Sorry, 30, page 30.
Thank you. Construction of up to 4 detached or attached
Do you want me to
Do you have a
comment?
comment on that?
Yeah.
Doesn't apply, doesn't apply.
Correct, so 13, so we don't have a growth area, but we do have public, water system and sewer. So 13, that's why that specifies that, but 14, it doesn't apply, so that could essentially happen whether you have town or public sewer and water or not. That's the way it's written,
Okay.
like in the law.
And Courtney's also waiting for a word back from Mary about
The
whether or not
historic
it can go in the historic district. To prevent-
Yeah, I was wondering about, because that's really the only,
I am waiting on that. I don't think that we need anything special stating that, but we'll verify it with her, because I think it's already regulated, so.
Isn't the Garing House in the historic district?
It's a historic building, but actually, I don't know, we just.
No,
It's
my-
right
it's in the
on the
middle
line.
of Barbara
I think
Fair.
it's on the line.
I think it is.
Her backyard is not in the historical zone,
I
but
have
her
it.
house is. So it
It
comes
actually
up
may
like
be, so there actually may not be anything saying you can't do it in a historic district.
Because that's gonna be affordable housing, right?
that. Mhm.
No,
no.
that will not be affordable housing.
Okay,
Yeah,
Okay.
middle income workforce.
Yes.
Exactly.
okay.
Affordable to me. Oh, goodness gracious.
So we don't have to designate a growth area? Is that
We
correct?
can't,
We can't.
that would be a zoning thing.
So how this, so, correct me if I'm wrong, Courtney, so our zoning piece is because we have public water and sewer.
Correct.
So that alone in our code allows for performance zoning in that we have density. We can have density in these areas where you don't have in other areas of town if you're not on the public water sewer. So that in itself is qualifying us to
It
do
allows for
something.
more density if it's a vacant lot
Yeah.
on town sewer and water.
Okay.
There isn't very many, I don't believe.
Right.
Just yours.
And you cannot, well, and you cannot tear down a building and then put 4 buildings up. It does specify that. I don't know.
It's all
if
on
it's
you,
specified.
Sarah.
We're happy to do.
Half the houses in historic, half isn't.
It's 200,
That would be
200 feet.
What is it?
Probably about half of Garing House
Yeah.
is in historic district and half isn't.
That happens to a lot of places.
I think it's just, I think
Here.
it goes by
It's
so
kinda
many
crazy.
feet
Yeah, it's
off the
Is it
road.
possible to-
200 feet. I think it's 200 feet if I remember right, because
For lack of a
I
better
couldn't
term,
understand
To
why.
fix it, so that.
We've had some people that their house is on Broad
You can't
Street.
fix the windows in the back side of your house, but you
Right.
can only fix them
Some
on
of
the
the
front.
repairs have fallen under historic district, but other repairs
But the
haven't.
building itself is on the historic register, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes,
yes.
but that doesn't fall under our,
Historic district.
yeah.
And it's on the federal and state register, correct?
I think so.
Yeah.
but
I think it is too.
Yeah.
And sorry, can I add one more question about the parking piece, which is on page 31, where it says for the elderly affordable, it would just be 2 spaces for every 3 units. Is that like, that's a minimum? Or that's not just the,
So what they're doing is our current ordinances are less, we require more parking currently. But the purpose of this is to create more housing. So by lowering the number of parking, they think that that will help create more housing. So our ordinances were too stringent in that part. So we had to change it to meet what the state guidelines were.
I mean, it feels like it makes sense in like Portland, but like if somebody's living here, they're probably gonna need a
They
car.
need
And so, and then what if there's not enough parking? Then what
Yeah.
happens to the housing?
But if there's 4 dwellings on a lot, it's probably gonna be in town because of water and sewer. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, that's right.
Any motions out there?
When do you think you might get the opinion back with regards to the historical district?
Hopefully in the next day or two. If I don't hear from her by tomorrow at noon, I will email her again.
How's the cackle over here?
No, that's what we deal with.
What's that?
That's what we deal with. It's just slow getting responses.
Yeah. I mean, did you want notes, like, are they going to be voting on this just like they were the previous ones, for it to move forward? And could it be contingent on if Mary requests no changes to our historic district
Yeah,
specifications?
I think that makes sense.
And I was just kind of following from the one before, since we're gonna have that one come back on March 6th, then have this one come back on March 6th, and then they're in the same timeline for your public hearings.
Yes, this one will require 2
Notices.
notices.
Yeah.
The codification will, I'll put it in both because it makes sense to just.
Right,
you're making the advertisement, but by law, this one will dictate more the, public hearing than the codification will because of the two.
Because of the, you're changing land, we're changing
7
land
and
use,
14
yeah, yeah,
day
yeah.
requirement.
yeah.
Just FYI, it's 200 feet from, measured from the edge of the right of way, 200 feet back. So if you have a house, if your property's 300 feet, anything in that 200.
So we're making a motion
To approve, the document contingent on the lawyers saying that there needs to be no changes to the historical district, right? Or there will be no changes to the historical district.
I mean, if you're bringing it back on the sixth, do you need to actually do a motion now, or are you gonna wait to do the motion on the sixth when you know?
Right.
Because in contingents, there's no reason for a motion today if you're gonna consider it on the sixth.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, since we have the other one coming back.
Yeah, might as well keep it on the same.
So it'll just be, we'll just word it in the minutes that it has been tabled, just we'll bring it back, or how would you like that worded for next time?
No action was taken.
No action. And then,
You'll bring it back
there's
on.
no other changes to recommend, or there are.
So far, the only thing, unless you, I don't know, looking at Jim's pieces, but from what the discussion here is just waiting on
Just
that
waiting on,
response from
okay.
Mary Customer on the historic district piece.
Aaron wrote that up just because I couldn't concentrate.
Yeah, I just haven't had enough time to check it, so I don't feel like I can take any action on it, but I'll look at it for sure. Aaron seems pretty thorough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, not taking any action on that brings us down to warrants.
Just a quick question before we move
Yeah,
on.
go ahead.
Is there still like grant money available or reimbursement money for the assistance that we get for the attorney's fees? And, one of the things that you had forwarded at some point, MMA, there was an opportunity, I don't know if it's still applicable, that there are state funds, to help cover the cost of this mandate, and I don't know if we qualify.
We can check on that
Yeah.
to see, I have that printout too.
Yeah.
To see if there's anything that we can apply for,
Yeah.
that we can get.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
9 p.m.
11A, review and approve accounts payable warrant 2024-33 in the amount of $63,363.14. Ooh. Your motion?
So,
I'll second. Any comments on this? Do you need a second?
just briefly, Sharon, can you give an overview of First Bank Card? Is that credit card purchases that the town makes, or?
So, which page are you on, Michelle?
5. Out of the one.
So those are credit cards that are assigned to different department heads. And these are the purchases that are made by those department heads. And the account number, well, it shows, general, wastewater treatment facility, protection, ambulance service, airport. So, these purchases were made from those department head credit cards.
So there isn't like one card, it's
No,
a program that.
they each
should
have,
be-
department heads each have their own credit card to make credit card purchases. And they have to provide the receipts for everything that they purchase. And if they don't, they go back to them, and they won't be paid unless they produce it.
Makes sense.
How luxurious the microwave, huh? Are we ready to vote on this warrant? All those in favor? Great. Next is 11B, review and approve accounts payable warrant 2024-34 in the amount of $329,778.17. Second.
On page one, the void is for the 21,000.
Well, it's for the total amount, the 28,423.95. You'll see that there were two checks issued for the same amount, and in here on the second to the back page, this is the second to the back page, one of them. On the back page, it shows where that first check was voided.
Cool.
What happened was this is the warrant that went through with the first warrant for the Trio Web program, and that one ended up spitting out two checks for the same thing. So, Amy wasn't able to print out the normal reports for this. She was able to get the warrant preview yesterday afternoon before she left for vacation. And this is the one that Trio is working on right now to fix, so that it will not give us problems the next time that she goes to do an AP warrant under Trio Web.
First of all, seeing all the Casella stuff is interesting. But the 148 tons Newry versus 143.74 tons Bethel, how does that work? Right here. I'm sorry.
I can't answer that. Can you answer that, Scott?
I believe Nuri gets billed for their tonnages separate from what Bethel gets billed for.
Well, that is correct, yes.
Yeah, but like picking up at Sunday River
Yeah,
and things like that, they get their own.
Bill, but why is it in our warrant, I guess is what I'm asking.
Shows 148 tons for Newry.
Do you wanna see?
I should know, I see it, it's on there all the time, I should know.
Two? Or the first one, I guess?
Yeah, first page.
Not the cover page?
So is this part of what we bill back out to Nuri and they reimburse us?
I wonder if this is the way it got all changed, that all the billing goes through Bethel.
Bethel.
And
Okay,
then
so we're billed and then we bill out to Newry and Newry reimburses. Okay, cool.
they, yeah,
That's
and they
great.
give us the numbers
Yeah.
to the breakdown for,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
I think that's
so I guess if that's the case, then where's Hanover's portion?
They may not have had,
And
I don't, maybe it didn't.
they only have
come
one
in.
at the general store there.
But they don't have, Hanover doesn't have all of the billings that we have with Newry, because they don't have some of the pickups in Hanover.
Right, they don't have the commercial accounts like,
Oh, the general store isn't a commercial account for Hanover, I thought that's what the select board said. their selectman. The one right on me, I don't know. Whatever,
Stony Brook.
no, I think that's Newry.
You mean at the town office?
The next one down.
We only have one store now at Stony Brook.
So
Is it
I,
Stony
this
Yeah,
is
that's
one
what we
area
find.
I haven't had a chance to delve into yet, but what I will do tomorrow is I will call Casella and see if I can get a meeting to have someone come here next week and go over the procedures on how this is actually done.
That would be awesome. If that does happen, maybe we should, invite the Newry rep from the Hanover.
I don't wanna do that right now.
Okay.
It's just, I
We
just,
can get all the information.
I-
So, oh yeah, we did say we'd
yes,
get all the
and
information.
I am supposed to work on that, but right now I think
No,
I
that's
need
fine.
to be able to understand it myself before I sit down
Mhm,
with somebody
mhm.
else, and to be honest, there just is not enough time in the day right now to
It's okay.
have this.
It's not, and
this
I don't think
happen.
it's super important, I was just, if it was something that was easily answered, I
No,
was
if-
into it.
I will call tomorrow and I will see if I can
Yeah,
schedule
no
a
ru-
meeting
no
for
rush.
next week.
I'll make a motion that we approve account payable warrant 20.
The motion's already made
Sorry, Erin?
and seconded, but we can vote for it,
Oh,
all those
sorry.
in favor? I appreciate your wanting to speed it up. 12, select board items. We did?
Oh, did it?
Your second, you've done the second, I didn't think you voted on that.
We just did. Did we? Did we not just vote?
Yes, we did.
I was like, oh my god.
Getting late.
You wouldn't let me make a motion again.
Oh, that tripped me out. Okay, select board items, 12. Does anybody have any select board items? No? Okay, hearing none. Executive session, a motion to enter into executive session pursuant to 1 MRSA section 4056A to discuss with the town manager personnel issues.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor? Okay. We'll head into
Can
executive
do we sign the warrants?
first, so Jessica,
Yeah.
you should.
Henry or no?
Yeah.
You can sign.
7:48. I guess it's the 9 going in, yeah.
Do you have 5 things to sign?
Okay, function.
Yes. Yes, yes.
Make motion we adjourn.
Do we have to exit executive session?
Oh, I thought we
I-
did.
Enter public session and
Yes, I
then
think so.
adjourn?
Yeah, yeah.
Look at me learning stuff.
I think you know that, yeah.
Yeah, so knowing that we're coming out of executive session at, just somebody on the time, I'm sorry, my clock is set. At 8:50, entering public session, and Pat McCartney would like to make a,
Motion that we adjourn.
alright, I'll second that motion, all in favor? Farewell, everybody, have a good night.
Yeah.
Thank you.